Hey, Cold Freeman and Ad Southbourne and Pixie Post. How you guys doing? Welcome to Modular Monday. And thanks very much for the resub with Prime. Colder Freeman, 16 months now. That's awesome stuff, thank you. How's things with you, Cold Freeman? Life is crazy. Glad you're doing okay though. All I can say, Cold Freeman, is at least we have basic necessities like water. Welcome Raiders. Thanks for the raid, Mr. X. Happy Modular Monday. Oh, how you guys doing? Big hi to Luminous Beat. Mr. X. Inga369, good to see you. Noiseworks. Please follow Mr. X if you're not already. Zombie Monkey Martin. Hey there. Happy Monday all. Thanks for the follow, Inja369. Void Reflections. Pulsar Octopus. Thanks for the sub at tier 1. Pulsar Octopus. Thanks so much. Yeah, the snails are a bit of a shock if you're new to the channel. Inga369. There may be more animals to come. Watch this space. Mothman1976. Good to see you. Welcome in. We have quite a lot of animals on this channel, although we have more than just animals, but there are quite a lot of animals. If anyone's new to Modular Monday, this is Golden Shrimp Guild's weekly Modular Synth focused event. Many hours to come of electronic music created on modular synthesizers. Thanks to the 1-bit Ad Southbourne. Mothman mode kind of things. Kinda. It's a modular synthesizer. I have nothing made by Moog, although I have some modules which are copies of some mini Moog circuits. But lots of stuff by different manufacturers and some that I built myself from kits. Hey, your opponent, how you doing? A lot of wires. It is all about the wires. Wouldn't do much without the wires. No one uses except Luke. I read that and then I read who was saying it. Loop Noise Beat, if you guys don't know, has probably 75% of all the synths currently made by Moog. I reckon. There's a couple missing, but yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't have a genuine Moog of any kind yet. But I do have the mini modules, as I say, which are mini Moog copies. And this is the filter. Lots of other fun stuff though. Thanks for the follow, Mothman 1976. Shark stuck on. Maybe it's stuck on for a reason. 58.66 BPM. I'm not sure I can even do that. This, by the way, talking BPMs, is 61, which is dangerously close to a certain BPM that we may have discussed before. Welcome in, by the way, Behold Stories. How you doing? Stonecrow Maiden as well. I'm not sure if I said hi to you before. for the 19 Heartbeats at Southland. Thanks for the big Pixie post. How you doing, Magical Train? Good to see you. Mothman. Sounds like we've never seen a modular synthesizer before, which is very exciting. The really short version is it's kind of like Lego for electronic musicians, where you build an instrument by starting with a case, or in my case a few cases, and you buy lots of different modules from different manufacturers. Some you might build yourself as well, and you create your ideal, hopefully dream instrument, and then the cases just power these modules, and then to make any of them work together and make any sound, you need to wire them together, and that's called a patch. So it's very nerdy and complicated, but the result is a very flexible and sometimes unexpected instrument, and that's what I'm playing. Hi there, Sarah Sounds Cave. That is actually not rings. I do normally use rings quite a lot actually, but for once it is not. What is doing that? It's a bit of a combo. Actually what it is, it's what is it? And also it's a sound from the disting NT, the main sound I think you're hearing, but it's combined with a bit of BIA as well. That's the BIA. And then both are through quite a bit of reverb, and that's probably why it sounds a bit like rings, because people normally put that through a lot of reverb. Good chat though. It was metallic-y FM-like vibe. Maybe that was the BIA you were hearing. But I actually unpatched rings for today. For once. But I do normally use it. Especially with this. This is the kind of vibe I would normally use it with. Yeah, so basically that's a combination of an electric piano sound. I think it's an electric piano sound from the disting NT. Plus the BIA in a very kind of soft mode for the BIA, I have to say. Yeah. Hey, Sis Mighty Beard. Thanks very much for the resub. 2 months now. Thanks so much. Appreciated. How you doing, Sis Mighty Beard? Sarah Sounds Cave. You just reminded me of the big question. Do you patch stuff into the input of rings, or do you mostly use it as an oscillator? Just mighty bit. Sleepy, just come off the back of going through some of my old music and trying to tart it up a bit. You're going to release some? How you doing, by the way, Breathalyzer? Like some trees. Good answer, Sarah Sounds Cave. My main use. So this is the question. I asked a question. Normally I'm answering questions. It's actually quite nice. Good to be here. Been lurking since Project Strayed. My main use is in VCV rack, and I primarily use Volt for octave and strum. But I've fed stuff into the in for audio input and played with that way. I need to explore that side more. Yeah, that's pretty much the the most common answer. I'm kind of the same. I probably use it like 80% without anything patched into the input. He says checking. No, I haven't at the moment. And then I try and like put stuff into it. But it just sounds so good on its own. Whenever you want anything to be a bit ambient and pretty, basically, it's like the go-to solution, isn't it, really? Although, like I say, this is kind of proving I don't need it, because this is kind of the vibe I would normally use rings with. He says playing a power chord. And I'm not using it. Since Mighty Beard's got one EP under the belt. I was aiming for a full album, but it's hard to motivate the kind of time period it takes when you only have so much time in the world. Yes, I feel that. I did release my first album this year, and it was quite a mission. I don't know how to describe it really. Yeah, I think EPs are good. It's a short thing. I'll do EPs definitely. You can always do 2 EPs or 3 EPs. I think I just had this kind of concept and I just decided I really wanted to do it for the album. But that was much more about me and my personal satisfaction in myself for doing it than that it particularly made sense for other reasons. But I'm very glad I did it. Really happy with it. Hey, Jonathan Roberta, how you doing? Good to see you. So much, just Mighty Beard. so much, Mothman. This is more chilled than I normally play, I have to say. But I'm going with it. In rings. I think we can do it quite easily with a slight repatch. We can bring it back. Is dangerously close to 83 BPM magical train. I know it's not actually at all. Sorry, no, it's 61. It's nowhere near it. Oh, there's a bit of rings. Thanks very much for the 100 bits. Your opponent. Cheers. Really appreciate it. Any BPM is dangerous. Malice Cold Train, you are out to get the 83 BPM today. Hey, thanks for the 10 more heart bits at Southwell. I think because we've already had a hype train at Southport, I don't think we can have another one in the same stream. I think it's kind of self-adjusts, but I don't think you can get two in the same stream, basically. So normally, so basically there's an amount of support needed to trigger a hype train, which varies depending on that streamer. Thanks very much, Pixie Pose, for gifting a tier 1 sub to Mothman 1976. Super appreciated. Yeah, so yes, you need some number of, which is more than one, support events such as bits or subscribing to kick off a hype train. And I think there's different settings, but anyway, mine is set to just for it to do whatever it thinks is a good idea. And I think because I'm a fairly small streamer in the world of affiliates, I think it just takes 2 for mine, but I think we already did that this stream, so I don't think we can get another one. Whether we can get one next stream or not, I'm not completely sure. I don't think, yeah. Anyway. There's another thing I could enable, which is a bits scoreboard, which I think would show like a scoreboard of who's given the most bits this week, or maybe something like that. I don't know. I've got that off at the moment. Anyway, Solid BPM, how you doing? Welcome in. Cold and Freeman, that train has left the station. We can have a train though. Saying that. Need to do some tuning. Hunt for the Tiger. Should probably track that. tiger! Void reflections, you are the winner. So it is possible to get the tiger. Does everything crash, Ableton? I don't know. There's worse. There's other software that crashes more, I think. I think my Keystep Pro crashes more than Ableton. Come on, hit me. What piece of software or hardware crashes for you guys the most? I'd love to actually hear that. Cheers to your opponent. See you soon. Cheers, Mothman 1976. Happy to answer more questions about it on another stream. We've got just a few minutes left before we raid onto your opponent for the next part of Modular Monday. Hey Dakuras, by the way. How you doing? It's been nice and chilled today. I've managed to stay pretty chilled the whole stream. How has this happened? And we did find a tiger. Sometimes we go a whole stream we don't find a tiger. Maybe there should be some new tigers soon. Cold Frame demands a user control stream. Yes. I've been promising that for a while. We will do that at some point. I might need to do a daytime stream for that, so I've got a bit more time and energy. Maybe we can make that happen soon. We'll see. Cheers again to this mighty beard. Cheers to all subscribers and bit gifters. Pix post, add Southorn, your opponent. This mighty beard. Pix post again, add Southorn again. Cheers guys. And Pulsar Octopus earlier as well. We're going to be going on to the excellent your opponent. Let's continue with Modular Monday with Golden Shrimp Guild. Personally, I'll be back again this week. More streams to come. Cheers, Stanker Maiden. We're glad we found you too, Mothman. Very welcome indeed. Thanks for another 1-bit at Southbourne. Let's set up the raid to your opponent. Hi, Glock Bash. Did that not work? Oh, I know why. Please stick around for the raid for more amazing modular synth music. Freeman hasn't earned the demand function. Well, you kind of have. I'm just not very timely about fulfilling demands. But I think generally I do deliver eventually on most requests. Thank you, Cross Bash. Hi to Crack on Modular. We are about to finish, unfortunately. Catch you soon. Have a brilliant week, everybody. It's only Monday. We've got the whole week of fun and hopefully lots of nice music in your lives to come this week, wherever you are and whatever music that might mean to you. That's my hope for you guys today, that you have a lot of amazing music in your life this week. There's a thought for the end of the stream. I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy your opponent.